So currently we're looking at a field that was previously arable back in 2003, and it's been reverted back to species-rich hay meadow using grass from the National Nature Reserve, which is adjoining Chimney, and we used a method called green hay spreading. So initially minor cultivations, and then pick the crop green, bring it on, spread it with muck spreaders, and then the first year or two you tend to just be topping or grazing to allow it to establish, and then once it's established you start to do your hay crop, followed by aftermath grazing. So this is nearly 14 years. It's maturing, but it's still not at a mature state. It probably takes something like 25 years for it to actually become fully mature. This is one of our best fields, we feel, and we therefore have now used it to green hay spread to other sites in the area, not just at Chimney. So other local farmers who are in stewardship schemes have taken green hay from Chimney and used it on their sites, and we've also used it at Chimney itself to enhance some of our fields we weren't happy with, to just improve the diversity of species in the sward. So one of the main and one of the important species is yellow rattle for the establishment of the hay meadow. So initially you need a very low phosphate level to actually have a chance of establishing a good meadow, and in that mix yellow rattle plays an important part. So it lives on the roots of the grasses and weakens them, which from our point of view is also then allowing the wildflowers which struggle to compete with the grasses, it allows them to compete, and then we get a nice mixed, very varied sward. So some of your common plants would be vetch, meadow vetchling, bird's foot trefoil, lots of hawkbits, which you'll see as nice little yellow flowers, cowslips, buttercups, plantains, and then we don't particularly have orchids on site. We do have odd ones popping up, but you will in some other species-rich hay meadows. They have quite a raft of orchids, so it just depends on the site. And then obviously a mix of meadow grasses, cocksfoot, meadow foxtail. So we have a small breeding flock of Beulah sheep, which originate from the Welsh hills, and a small flock of Hebridean sheep. We breed these on site to provide replacement grazing animals for our conservation grazing, which we carry out across the 3 counties, Berks, Bucks and Oxon. And then we also have a small herd of Dexter cattle, again, which we breed replacements for. And the reason we use those breeds is because they are the most adept at surviving on some of the vegetation we're asking them to clear, and they're also good at clearing that vegetation. So for example, the Hebridean sheep are more inclined to eat scrub, so they'll happily eat down bits of blackthorn and stuff that are encroaching on the grass, and they'll strip them down, weaken them, and then we get them out of the sward. Some of your more commercial sheep aren't so keen on grazing those sort of things. They also can survive on the lower nutrients that we provide on some of our nature reserves, so you're asking them to eat quite poor quality vegetation, but actually they're very able to survive and actually thrive on that. The reason is not to keep them for producing lots and lots of meat, but although we do, as a byproduct, there is meat produced from time to time, but that's not our main. Our main driver is the wildlife and conservation of the meadows and our other nature reserves. Most of Chimney sits on the floodplain next to the Thames, so it plays quite an important role as far as the ecosystem services go in providing somewhere for that floodwater to sit during times of flood and slowing up the flow down river towards Oxford and on to London eventually. The meadows along the river have been there for many, many years. Some of Chimney has never been ploughed up, it's always been meadow or pasture. And so in doing that you've developed a strong soil structure underneath, which kind of manages itself because it's got everything it needs. It holds water when we need it to hold water, and we obviously have to manage with that side of it at Chimney as well. So when we're flooded, we don't have very many places to go with animals, so we can't keep as many animals as we would like to graze Chimney, but actually what we do is work with local farmers who bring their stock on for summer grazing so that we can get all our grasslands grazed as we would like. And then in the winter, when everything needs to come off and we're limited on our grazing, then we haven't got a lot of animals to find home for. People are so used to buying ryegrass hay, nice, green, leafy, this is it, this is what it should look like, that they've forgotten what natural meadow hay looks like, and that it does have a mix of variety of species in it, but that doesn't make it bad. It actually makes it better for the animals, and I personally think it is better for them, and they certainly love it.